Greetings and welcome to CRT Gaming Podcast, episode number 30, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. This is Jones, and with me tonight are my good friends Gohan and Dazpick.
Woo! Mr.
Dazpick, were you able to escape from all the traps Mr. Big set for you?
A few of them.
Well,
A few of those sneaky 1 second bombs behind the windows blew me up a couple times, but yeah, Joe Pesci got the better of me a few times.
And but Mr. Gohan, are you familiar with this artist that formerly looked like Michael Jackson?
Jones, your butt is wide. Well, mine is too. Just watch your mouth, or I'm going to sit on you. The word is out. You better treat Moonwalker right. Because I'm the king of cellulite.
Okay, I was waiting to see if you finished it or not. So we're doing games based on movies. And Dazpick, had a choice of so many movies he could have chosen from. And we've landed on Moonwalker.
We did land on Moonwalker, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That was really good, by the way.
So how'd we get here?
How did we get here? I did have another one picked out, but something about old MJ. Just it's one of those things where we were just talking about how things look differently in the rear view. And Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is something that's probably not going to age too great.
It's a novelty at anything, but I think even when it came out then, this is a game that I never owned. I remember renting it, and I played it, and I didn't try to progress in it at all. Because they did kind of hype this up a lot back when it came out, because it's a Titanic.
Oh, it was
license.
huge. It was huge.
That was massive. And there was the arcade release, right around the same time. And I remember we had it at the arcade.
Yeah, if you're under the age of 40, it's kind of hard to understand just how huge Michael Jackson was. Huge. Number one, celebrity pop star, basically the face and the person who transformed MTV, honestly. And this was, how did this happen is my question. It's okay, we got Michael, we got a video game, and we kind of put them together.
One day the guy's hair is on fire, and next thing you know, he's got a video game.
Does he know Pepsi Man? That's my question. Is that how he got the deal? Is through Pepsi Man? Through Pepsi Man's agent?
Boss. Mr. Big should be gone. You got to take down Pepsi Man to keep from
Michael. How is Pepsi Man? And have you seen him lately?
They're like arch rivals.
The super move is to light your hair on fire.
Yeah. Because it is weird. Like Michael Jackson, the whole icon pop star that he is / was, it's just something that's it's undefinable, really, because I don't think any person alive, at least in our lifetimes, has ever been that famous. Because you could watch something, towards the end of his career, when he's still he wasn't supernova star the Thriller album was, but he was still riding on the coattails of that, making songs that people still enjoyed. But there'd be little kids that's never even you didn't watch Beat It, you didn't know about Thriller. Why are these little 6 and 7 year old kids passing out when they see Michael Jackson? He should be nothing to them, but somehow he's like a god. It's pretty bizarre.
Cultural icon, right?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of how this game happened. I think, because I was never a big Michael fan, but, in the 80s, there's no avoiding it. You heard it, whether you absolutely hated it or you wanted to hear it, you were going to hear it. And I think someone, he did elevate basically created the music video. And I think when you have someone that is kind of like genius in a ways. You know, you can kind of give them a chance at being a genius at something else. And this is where the King of Pop made a flop, because this was a game concept and designed by Michael Jackson. And that kind of explains a lot in this game to me.
Bubbles and his complicity.
The Bubbles compass.
The first time I remember seeing this was actually at the arcade that Daz used to work at. And it was this massive, massive coin op, and it had, 3 players for it, and it was just like this, spectacle. Once again, it was like in the part of the arcade where the new game was, that was intended to bring people in through the front door and, get them spending money on game tokens and all that stuff. So I was like completely like 180 when the game came out, and it was like kind of a Shinobi light. I don't know, like what would you guys like kind of break this game down a little bit? I mean, it's like it's an action platformer, but it's got a little bit of like rolling thunder.
The Genesis or the arcade?
Well, I mean, both. I mean, we're here to talk about the Genesis one.
No, we're talking about the Genesis one. You take that arcade back to wherever it came from, because these are 2 separate games.
These are 2 separate
yeah,
games.
And I'm only playing one
different. It's completely different. Like,
but I mean, it's kind of a kind of Shinobi-like game, and you got like, I don't know, like.
Well, they did go to the same school, like they went to the Shinobi school for hide and kidnap kids, because there's kids sitting on top of buildings, like there's this clone
behind the window
of this girl, and they're everywhere.
Mr. Big not really thinking about where he's hiding his kidnapping victims.
No, not at all. They just got so many of them. He's like, just put her on the roof. Set her on the car.
But sir, just don't turn into a spaceship.
Don't let the chimp find it.
Yeah. You didn't know this, but Bubbles, like chimpanzees are actually like bloodhounds with kidnapped children. They can smell them through like a foot of steel. Like
they smell the fear. They take you to the battle.
Actually, what they're smelling is Joe Pesci's hair product in the whatever he's styling his shit with.
It's just such an all-around bizarre game. It really is. It's and like on top of that, like you could say this, it's not, but you could say this is the worst game ever made. Let's say that was true. The worst game ever made would have the absolutely most iconic soundtrack to a game ever made. Like there will never be like a soundtrack with these songs on it of this level that sold as many copies as they did, like ever again. Like I mean,
no doubt about that.
I mean, you had Bad, Smooth Criminal, Beat It, Billie Jean, Another Part of Me, and then like a little bit of Thriller, like in the dance-off stuff. And that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you can't imagine that with, I mean, there was like a couple like pop, early 2000s kind of rhythm games with like, Britney Spears or NSYNC or whatever, but not like this, not of this like size and magnitude. And not to jump ahead too much, but apparently there's a ROM dumped of this game that had even more music in it, but they couldn't do it for, I'm guessing, like licensing reasons or whatever. But there's a version of this Genesis game out there, and it has like a bunch of songs and other stuff in it, apparently.
What I was reading about that is it did, like the retail version does not. It like in the like graveyard level, it plays the song Another Part of Me, but apparently in that version it does Thriller. It has the full version of Thriller, which is
that makes sense.
It makes total sense. It should have been, but apparently there was a rights issue there. But but somehow
doesn't make any sense if the guy making the damn game, it's using his music. he
But I
could
don't think
offer up his own
wrote
rights.
Thriller. I think that's what it gets into. You get like Quincy Jones, and you get
don't
into
put Quincy Jones lawyers first off. Michael, good lawyers. Quincy Jones probably the best lawyers.
yeah.
Quincy said no.
He was like, that's going to be a soft no from Quincy. Michael, sorry, you can't use that.
Well, when you think of like the royalties involved in that, like if you look up like how many albums Thriller sold, the guess is between 66 million and 100. So there's like an extra 34. It's at least 66 million. So there's like another 34 million in royalties possibly sitting out there. But there's a lot of weird things in this game. Like,
do you think?
Yeah. Like,
Go on.
Please elaborate, sir.
But it's like from both ends. Like I can blame, let's say like kind of the lackluster or not super fun gameplay. I can blame that on Michael Jackson because he designed it. It's his concept. But like things that are in the game itself, like when you turn into a robot, like your robot like has like absolutely no animation at all. You're like a giant sprite flying around. And
dude, that's quality. I love that. The kind of slack-armed robot. I love that.
That's a robot, bro.
He doesn't need to move his arms. He doesn't need to move his arms. Like, it's very true to form as a robot.
Well, so like you as Michael Jackson, you use your dance powers, your magic powers, your little sparkly jazz you throw at him. And
is that what that's called? That he shoots?
Is that jazz that he's shooting out?
Yeah, of course it is. And it just kind of like knocks the enemies off the screen. It's like and they go flying. But when you turn into a robot, you have like lasers and missiles, and it's just like it's a death machine. These people just explode, and it'd been cool to see some Gibbs, but it's a much more violent end to the enemies than they were getting.
I mean, like in other levels, they just dance and they get tired and die.
Well, that's what happens. You can't keep up with Mike.
You can't keep up with.
He puts that lean in from Smooth Criminal. It's over.
It actually does something to your arteries and your ankles, and it kills you.
Yeah, there's like insert like broken ankle memes, or there's tons of memes that would fit for what happens when Mike dances.
Is this the first game with a digitized Joe Pesci in it? We need there needs to be something on the box, like with his face, like digitized Joe Pesci included.
I'm sure there's a Lethal Weapon game out there somewhere.
I do have one problem with Mr. Pesci in this game. Okay, like so when you get to the end of each level, like he kind of hops out and says like something like ha ha ha, some crap. I forget what he says, but. Were any of you ever real close to him when he comes out and says
yes.
that? Dude, he takes
damage.
He's like an instant kill, man. He just sucks your life dry. I was like, what the hell, man?
It's bullshit, man.
It's total BS just for him coming out and talking smack.
I'm Mike. What? How can you do this much damage? I'm Mike.
He injected you with his drugs. He's a drug dealer. He injected you quickly with the drugs. Don't get close to him.
Yeah, it made no sense.
There's a lot of stuff that don't make sense. Like
he can turn into a robot. He can turn into a
car,
European car. He can turn into, he's in the 30s.
I gotta say, I didn't really like how the your skill power was tied into your health. It's like you're giving up your life to save these kids and do dance-offs. I mean, that's kind of jacked up.
Well, you get a little bit of life every time you rescue a kid. You kind of like...
Yeah, you do.
You like suck their life essence, essentially.
It's like the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, so I like it. Yeah. So like Michael Jackson's kind of like a Skeksis anyway, or whatever.
As time went on.
Yeah. The man in the mirror is not the same man in the mirror he was in the 80s. But there are things, like weird things, like the... like when you spin around, kind of like do your little Michael Jackson spin, and then you can like throw your hat. I did not like when I threw my hat, I was like totally vulnerable. So, I would try to do something fancy. I'm going to kill a couple people with my hat, and then I just kind of like I don't know, I get mauled at the other end while I'm standing there, you know, looking cool.
Getting mauled by a pack of dogs.
A pack of dogs with a horrible bark. That's like a horrible bark noise.
But they're fantastic Jones, they're fantastic dancers, though.
They are. They can get down.
Especially that white one. The white, like,
that white
Jack Russell
little
guy.
Bastard.
Yeah, the little Jack Russell Terrier looking guy.
Never wanted to punch a dog so bad in my life. That little bastard pissed me off.
Michael Vick's Moonwalker.
The ones that pissed me off is like you, like throughout the game, like you're, you know, fighting these little street thugs or whatever. You fight some dogs, you fight some zombies, and then you get to the enemy hideout. And now everyone's got like laser guns. Like now it just got real. Like I got beat up pretty bad.
Mr. Big is pretty well funded, apparently.
Apparently so.
He's got like SWAT guys with like laser rifles. Like, Michael just has moves.
Yeah, I just dance, man. I got this hat. Got this monkey.
Got hand sparkle jazz. Bubbles is like on my 6 helping me find these kids.
No Bubbles.
Michael's adventure is a wild one. Like he's all over the place in this game. He's in a graveyard. He's in a parking garage, that very exciting parking garage, and he's like in Mr. Big's factory, and he's in the club. I mean, he's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, he apparently has a battle plane. I mean, I didn't know Michael owned a battle plane that went into space, and I would have called it something other than a battle plane.
It's in the bowels of Neverland Ranch, my friend.
That's where it was created.
Amongst many other things.
Michael's battle plane looks something like if there was a system that came out between the Nintendo. Well, there were a ton of systems. That's a dumb question. So I'm gonna go with like it was Intellivision. Michael's battle plane level is an Intellivision level. It is probably one of the worst looking things I've ever seen on. When you beat the game, okay, it says like congratulations. Congratulations looks better than that level. That level is unbelievably bad. And it has a digitized Joe Pesci face. It blew my mind.
But I mean, that spaceship that you're talking about is Michael himself, though. Like, he is the spaceship, Jones.
But it's so bad looking. I couldn't believe how bad it looked. I really was in disbelief because I never beat this before, so this was like the first time I've ever seen it, and I was literally,
oh my god, yeah, like bring us there live. You're like, you know, you blew up Mr. Big's lab, and then suddenly you're playing like Air Diver.
Yeah, I'm playing like a very bad version of Air Diver, and it's just like I'm not like sure what I'm shooting at or how to shoot it, and it's just. And Joe, you know, Mr. Big talking smack to me, and then anytime like I get hit, you know, Michael's, you know, he's like,
I mean, it hurts. I mean, he's still a spaceship, but it hurts. This game is so strange. It's so strange.
It's so layered. It's so layered. There's so many things are happening.
It's weird, like just some of the. I don't know, like decisions. Like I haven't seen Moonwalker, and I think I've seen part of it like eons ago when it came out.
And I want to keep it that way. Just put that out there.
But you have like the Michael Jackson music, and a lot of it's like really fitting, like with the level. You know, so like in the club, it's playing like Smooth Criminal, and
it's a great track.
But what's kind of weird is you have like a cave level. And like the cave level's playing Billie Jean, so it's like,
is she lost in the cave?
I don't know. Maybe
you gotta find her. Is one of the kids Billie Jean?
Well, that's not your lover. You know, that's just a girl who claims that I am the one.
You know, there's things we know now.
I remember back. I can't. It was because they were trying to bring the actual movie out to like theaters, but it was just
terrible.
It was Well, they showed it in its entirety on MTV, and what it really is just like one big like anthology of like crazy high budget videos with this story about Mr. Big and Michael around it. So like they had to really kind of dig deep into the the Mr. Big story to kind of make this game.
That's why they hired a pro like Joe Pesci.
Yeah, he's got gravitas.
It did have some like things I thought were, I don't know, like that I enjoyed at least a little bit. Like I did enjoy the in between levels where you had like Michael and he's like going, or like I'm bad, or just something stupid. It made me giggle.
I'm pretty sure that was a desired effect.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they thought. But
I'm sure that's what Mike was going for.
I got enjoyment out of that.
Let's make him laugh.
Yeah.
My the dude, my friend growing up who let me borrow Ghouls and Ghosts and Shinobi, I remember, once again, like, saving up money for your next game when you're like a kid, right? And I remember he's
child.
Like, he came home and he was like, dude, come over, I got a new game. And I came over and I see like the magic KB Toys bag, and inside he pulls it out and it's Moonwalker. I was like, what? And we proceeded to, like you did with all your games back then, you played it until you beat it. And I was like, oh. We played the shit out of it. And I was like, so like, oh my God, this game. And then he's like, do you want to borrow it? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, give that junk to me. Take that smack.
Give me that. I mean,
no, what do you want to borrow?
You want to borrow Rambo? Okay.
Yeah, I played some bad games. Played like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Played that. You play what you get. It's kind of. But there was nothing worse than making a bad decision then, because you just had the box.
You're
really
stuck.
Much to go
You're
on.
Stuck. Yeah.
And it's like, yep, let's do it. And even if it sucked, you still tried to, you tried to shine it
make
up.
Make the best of it.
Yeah.
Polish that turd. And I think that's enough said about Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Yeah, you can't say a whole lot about it.
I'll just say you're welcome, guys. That's my gift to you.
This isn't Michael's only game with Sega, right? I mean, he was in Space Channel 5, Space Michael.
Yeah, I must have never got to that. I played that a little bit, but I obviously never got to that.
You haven't.
Yeah,
lived.
I never played that. And
until you meet Space
keep
Michael.
It that way. Now that I know this. Michael Jackson being in 2 video games that I've played is more than enough in my lifetime.
Just think if this would have went over well. Like, what if he would have quit making music and been like the next Kojima Productions,
Just like this luminary game developer.
He may have a basement full of video games that he never released.
It'd been like a video game star. Like, it'd be like Michael Jackson in Uncharted. Or, Michael Jackson is
God of War starring Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
It's him and Bubbles instead of him and Atreus.
I would play that. Like that.
This game sucks. Do you want to borrow it? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we will leave this this Moonwalker business behind us, and we will march forward with a new movie game that is handpicked by Mr. Gohan. So, have you done anything worse to us, Gohan, or is there redemption for the CRT Gaming crew?
This is going to be the redemption, our third act redemption in our Hollywood screenplay here. So when you kind of threw the gauntlet down for this, like there's a lot of bad out there, but there are some really good games that are based on film properties. I kind of had a list of some, good ironic, choices and stuff like that, but I wanted to pick a game that I played early on that was a part of a movie and I loved playing, and that was Sunsoft's Batman for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Solid.
Oh, I have not played that in eons.
It is very hard. It is hard. It's very hard, and I don't know if you're seeing the theme here. And it's kind of like a Ninja Gaiden kind of style game. So
yeah,
but Batman has a hard road ahead of him in this story.
It's tough. I picked that one up recently, and it was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, Bob the Joker's Goon is in it.
Yeah.
So is the KGB.
It is Nintendo hard.
Excellent. I don't know if it's excellent or not. We'll see. We'll find out. And I guess everyone else can too if they stay tuned this bat time on this bat channel for Batman on the Nintendo. Till then, try not to play Moonwalker.
Try not to. Public service announcement. Don't play Moonwalker.
Don't play Moonwalker. Just go listen to an album or something if you have to. But
if you gotta get your mic on,
you gotta get it on. Yeah, watch a video. But so we'll catch you next week. Till then, this is Jones with Dazpick and Gohan, and we are signing out.
Until next time.
Yeah, my burger!